going on.
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family. Smoochie.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guy, as always, Mojo Mutati. Mojo, we're going to start with the Eastern Conference Finals and the New York Knicks, who have gotten their backs pressed up against the wall. They have got to win, Mojo, Game 5, or the season is over and next stop, Cancun, because last night in Game 4, with the Knicks trailing 2-1, the second game in Indianapolis, the Knicks were defeated by the Indiana Pacers thanks to an absolutely incredible performance from their star and their Game 1 hero, Tyrese Haliburton, Mojo. Tyrese Haliburton, when I say he had a big game, I mean he had a game that nobody ever in NBA history has had before, in that he not only registered a triple-double, and it wasn't a cheap one either, Mojo. He had 32 points, 15 assists, and 12 rebounds, but he did all that, all the scoring, dishing out all those assists. 15 assists is absurd, while having no turnovers. He took care of the ball. It is so important when you come to winning basketball games, and especially in the playoffs. It's been something that has plagued the Knicks. It's plagued Jalen Brunson. And on the other side, you've got this guy who is dishing out assists all over the basketball court and never turned the ball over once. Now, Mojo, last night was a big night for Tyrese because for the first time, his dad, John Haliburton, was back in the building. He had not been allowed to go to the games and watch his son play live after what happened at the end of the first round series, the Pacers and the Bucks. After the Pacers beat the Bucks, remember, John Haliburton had that on-court incident with the Greek Freak, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Mojo. The NBA was not happy about that incident, and they said, hey, John, you've got to sit out some games. Well, again, last night, he's back in the building. He gets to see his son make history. Maybe that was some sort of motivation for Tyrese Haliburton. If it was the case, then they should do this more often because, again, historic game. Mojo, John Haliburton, not the only notable person in the building last night. You had a bunch of celebrities, some who were Knicks supporters, Spike Lee, Timothée Chalamet. You also had a bunch of other big celebs. Triple H was in the building. Jelly Roll was there. 50 Cent. After the game, as Tyrese Haliburton met with the media, he talked about his historic performance, but also talked about Triple H. Watch this.
You know, obviously my dad being here is special, but I mean, growing up, like my dad was reffing a lot on the weekends, so he didn't get to come to many of my games growing up. So when he would come to my game, I would want to play well. So with him being in the building, of course I wanted to play well, but I mean, I know we're saying free Pops and Pops is free, but he was not in jail. He happened to be in a very beautiful home, sitting very pretty watching NBA basketball. He's just fine. So, yeah, I was happy he was in the building. Obviously, Triple H is in the building. That might have been a little, I'm not going to say it was more special, but Triple H being in the building was pretty fire, too.
And, you know, Mojo, pretty cool because, wrestling fans out there will remember that Jalen Brunson, the Knicks star, and Tyrese Haliburton, here it is. This was at SmackDown a couple of months ago, Mojo, and obviously Triple H is an executive at WWE. They faced off here now. I don't think anybody had any idea that these two teams would then face off in the Eastern Conference Finals with a trip to the NBA Finals on the line, but it just happened to work out. And, of course, then last night, Triple H in the building. And Tyrese Haliburton was more excited about that than his own father being there, Mojo.
There's so much to break down here, Babcock. I don't know where to start. I mean, I guess if your dad was kicked out of the building, maybe you're less excited about him being there unless you put on a performance like that with 0 turnovers, which you've touched on. Honestly, that should be the strategy, right? Like, ban him for the smaller games, and when you really need Haliburton to do something incredible, like Game 7 type of feel,
right?
Bring Pops back, free Pops, and get him back in the mix. Triple H being there, I'm actually not surprised by this. There's been so much online about Haliburton and Brunson and this rivalry essentially starting in a WWE ring, like pro wrestling is forecasting the future. So I'm not surprised that Triple H showed up here, especially we've seen Triple H travel to events like this for recruiting purposes. I take it back to Gronk Beach when Triple H showed up to a pool party to just recruit Rob to come over and hang out with us in WWE and have some fun there. So that makes total sense. And with McAfee being there, his guy, his commentator, just makes the whole thing feel like family at this point.
Mojo, I'm glad you brought up Pat McAfee because, of course, WWE commentator. Now, people who followed Pat in his former life when he was a star NFL punter will obviously know that he played for the Indianapolis Colts, and he was a star there. He was one of the best punters in the league, and he's somebody who has, in football retirement, has continued to live and work in Indianapolis, Mojo. He does his very popular Pat McAfee show from Indy. That's where the studio is. And so last night, of course, Pat McAfee had to be in the building. Mojo, they gave him a microphone. I didn't like it, but I'll tell you what, the people at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, they liked it. Watch this.
Indianapolis, Indiana. We got some big wigs from the big city in the building. Spike Lee is here. Ben Stiller is here. Timothy Chalamet is here. Let's send these sons of bitches back to New York with their ears ringing. Let's turn this on.
Pat's a great hype man. That crowd was loud. You could tell you didn't need to be in the building. You could hear it over the TV, Mojo. The Knicks, look, they are obviously now in a position where they need to win. I thought they needed to win Game 4 to realistically have a chance to win this series. Mathematically, they are obviously alive. I had predicted Knicks in 7 before the series, Mojo. I guess that's still alive, although I'm not feeling very good about the prediction right now. I don't think the Knicks have shown you any capability to win 3 games in a row versus this Indiana Pacers team. But that's the challenge in front of them. Up next, Mike Vrabel weighing in on that viral video of Stefon Diggs on a boat with a mystery pink substance. We'll hear from the 3-time Super Bowl champion turned Patriots head coach when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike, Mojo, and Lucas Widman. Guys, Stefon Diggs got 0 catches, 0 games played, but he's already got 1 controversy thanks to a little bit of Memorial Day weekend partying, Lucas.
Yes. So just like everybody, Stefon Diggs was making use of his time and the holiday, and he was spotted on a nice boat with his new lady, Cardi B. It wasn't just them two on the boat, though. There were plenty of people. A lot of women in bikinis, having a great time. Looked like a little bit of a twerk off here and there. But there's one video that went all over social media, and that's because Stefon Diggs is talking to 3 women. And he's holding something. It's a container, and it looks like there's unidentified pink substance in there. And I'll say this right now, for all we know, that could be Pepto-Bismol, and he could be looking out for everyone's tummies. They might have eaten something spicy.
Bad fish. Yeah.
But chances are, there could be something else going on.
Right,
and
we just don't know.
There were reporters who asked Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel at OTAs on Wednesday
where he is not. And to be clear, Lucas, Stefon Diggs, and these are not mandatory, Stefon Diggs is not at practice today.
That is correct. And Mike Vrabel said that specifically. He goes, look, I am focused on the people that are here, and while Diggs currently is not, I am in direct communication with all of my players. Here's what he had to say about the video that is going wild on social media.
Video of Stefon Diggs has gotten a lot of traction in the last 24 hours or so. He's on a boat having a good time, but the question comes in as to a certain substance that people are guessing what is and isn't. Is this something that the team has to look into?
Well, it's something that we're aware of, and obviously we want to make great decisions on and off the field. And we're hoping that with our time here on the field today, and that when we don't have a script and we're on the call-up periods, that we're making great decisions. And so the message will be the same for all our players, that we're trying to make great decisions, and any conversations that I've had with Stefon will remain between him and I and the club.
Have you talked to him since the video?
I talk to our players every single day, the ones that are here and the ones that aren't.
Are you expecting him to practice today, Mike?
Not if he's not here.
So he's not here.
You guys will find out in a minute. But no.
Right. It's like practice, not one of those things you can like zoom into. I'm actually surprised, Mojo, that Mike Vrabel, who is obviously in his first year as the Patriots head coach, coming in as a former star player for the organization, I'm surprised he actually answered the question and admitted that they had seen the video and that they had talked to him about what this substance was.
Dude, Mike Vrabel is the man. I was a huge fan of his as a player, and I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him as a coach so far. I gotta say it. He also threw in that little line. I talk to my players every single day, the ones that are here and the ones that aren't. That's fantastic. I don't know any coach that talks to every single one of his players every day. I've never even heard of that, and I've played for a lot of different coaches in more than one sport, so just shows you that the guy is a player's coach. As for Stefon Diggs, I mean, guys, I am totally coming at this from an unbiased standpoint. It has nothing to do with the fact that this guy is a Maryland Terrapin like myself. That's an irrelevant detail, but I think Lucas is onto something. I think that could have easily have been Pepto-Bismol. I don't know. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was an off-the-field performance enhancer. I mean, they're on a boat on the beach. There's pretty ladies everywhere. I don't know what's going on, guys, but I've never been in the drug game, so I don't know what drug is pink like that. I got nothing to say on that. So the Pepto-Bismol or the other thing line kind of checks out to me. But, I mean, hey, if the league sees this and they think that something's afoot, you better believe those drug testers are going to be showing up at his door. And, you know, I don't know, if the substance is still in his system, they will absolutely handle accordingly. Trust me, as someone who used to get tested like that, they can come and catch you in some very uncomfortable places that you have to excuse yourself and go walking with someone to the bathroom to go urinate for them. Doesn't matter where you are, they're going to get you. So, hey, at this point, like Vrabel said, we got nothing. We've all seen the video, but can't comment on it. Let's see what happens if they send someone to his house or wherever.
Coming up, we've got the 911 call made after Gregg Popovich's medical emergency back in April. You'll hear just how serious the situation was when TMZ Sports comes back right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, we broke the story back in mid-April that NBA great head coach Gregg Popovich, one of the best coaches in NBA history, was rushed to a hospital after he had a medical emergency at a local San Antonio Ruth Chris steakhouse. Now, at the time, Mojo, we were told that this was not really a serious situation, that he had essentially fainted while he was eating, and out of an abundance of caution, they decided to take coach and get him checked out. Well, we've now obtained the 911 call that was made from inside the restaurant on that night of April 15th, Mojo. And, well, tell you what, it sounds a little bit more serious than we had actually been told. Take a listen.
Antonio Fire and EMS, what's the address of your emergency? Okay.
I have a guest that is non-responding.
Okay. Are they down in the lobby or in a room?
Down here in the restaurant.
Okay. The male or female?
Yeah.
And how old?
80.
I'm sorry, the phone's breaking up just a little bit. Was he breathing, just not responding?
Barely responding.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
He's responding now.
Okay, so did he faint?
He passed out for a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. And your name and phone number? Okay. All right, we're just heading that way.
Okay, this is Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
they're on their way.
You know, Mojo, you can hear the concern in the voice of the caller. They were very familiar at that Ruth Chris Steakhouse with Popovich because it's a place that he frequents, we're told. So they were concerned about him. It sounded, again, like he was unresponsive for a period of time, and then he started to come to, but they still, of course, wanted to make sure that he was okay, so they take him off to the hospital. Now, shortly after this, Mojo, as we all know, Gregg Popovich decides to ultimately step down as head coach. Here he was with his former great players, Manu Ginobili and the great Tim Duncan. I'll tell you, Mojo, Look, he's in his 70s, 76 years old. He's dealt with medical issues. It did not look great at that press conference there, and you obviously hope that Gregg Popovich is okay. But a tense situation at the steakhouse, Mojo, on the night of April 15th.
Yeah, man. And, hey, first of all, I got to shout out the caller here. I mean, that is not an easy call to make. You're working at a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I mean, that's not exactly your area of expertise, but, relayed the message, stayed calm, and, thankful for that guy, of course. As for Popovich, I mean, 76 years old, but my goodness, I mean, think about all the stress that man's been under his entire career. Coaching, playing, all of the things. I mean, this is one of the greatest coaches of all time. So, I mean, the wear and tear on the body has had to have been tremendous, and it's scary. Yeah, I mean, this is a celebrity. I mean, if you're the Ruth Chris staff, if you're the medical staff, the ambulance that shows up, I mean, you're under the microscope more than ever because you're working on a legend. You're essentially assisting and saving a legend's life that's going to come with a ton of eyes on you, in the media, from the fan base, all of these things. So tough situation to be a part of. I mean, look, the press conference, we've already talked about that. Obviously, I don't think anyone was expecting this guy to be at 100%. No. This is going to take a while. And again, given his age, he might never be 100%. He's going to have a new 100% of what that actually means for him and his body right now. But, it certainly was a scary time. And, the call, again, just shout outs to the entire team for staying cool under pressure and getting it all done. Yeah. But, hopefully Popovich is going to be back on his feet full swing with whatever that new 100% is. And, we still got El Jefe in the mix. So we got him regardless.
That's right, Mojo. Obviously, stepped down as head coach. He still remains the team president. So although he doesn't have the rigorous, demanding day in, day out basketball schedule like a head coach has, he's still involved in the game. He's their family. He's coached that team for 3 decades. It's more than just his job or his place of employment. Those people in that Spurs organization are Gregg Popovich's family, and we obviously join them in hoping the guy gets back to as absolutely healthy and great as he could possibly feel. The greatest Steelers quarterback of all time is not holding back on his opinion of the team's pursuit of Aaron Rodgers. It's a Terry Bradshaw interview you have to hear for yourself next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, 4-time Super Bowl champion Terry Bradshaw does not think that his team should sign Aaron Rodgers. Of course, the Steelers are seemingly in pursuit of the future Hall of Fame quarterback. So Terry, yesterday, Mojo, goes on 103.7 The Buzz in Pittsburgh. The show was called Morning Mayhem. And, Bradshaw brought the mayhem yesterday. Watch this.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man. That guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
Now, he does not. I had to go over and introduce myself to him. He's not. I had to go, hey, Aaron, I'm Terry Bradshaw. I know he knows me, but I just felt like I better tell him who I am. Yeah. And not, you walk in there and you get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing.
Well, Mojo, they don't seem to be fans of Aaron, certainly not personally. seems like if he's going to play football next year, it's going to be for the Steelers or just not at all.
I mean, goodness gracious, Terry Bradshaw just burying this guy in every single way possible. I mean, he made this one personal. I mean, he went well past any kind of professional gripes and made this a personal issue. I'd be curious to see if Aaron feels the same way or if he was even aware that there was an issue between the two of them. At the end of the day, I'd be honest, I'd be surprised if Aaron cared whatsoever. Can't imagine he'd care. As for Aaron going to Pittsburgh, I mean, who knows? And I'm not just saying this because he was my former quarterback with Green Bay, but I would love to see Aaron play somewhere else. I understand, though, a guy that's late in his career who had a really rough couple of years, albeit after one of the greatest quarterback careers of all time. What he did with the Packers was incredible. You know, I know people will knock him for having not so many Super Bowl wins, but I mean, all of his MVPs and records, dude was an absolute animal. I'd like to see him get a shot again somewhere else. I can understand people wanting a franchise quarterback that's going to be there for the next 10, maybe even 20 years. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, man, somebody's got to give him a shot. I don't care where it is. Clearly not in Pittsburgh, according to Bradshaw.
Yeah, I mean, look, he wants to go somewhere he can win. The Steelers were one of the better teams in the AFC, at least through about halfway through the season last year. The reality is, and I get it, they just don't have that quarterback on the team right now. Aaron Rodgers, for as bad as the Jets' record was last year, look at his numbers. His numbers were not bad. He's not the guy that he used to be, but the guy he used to be might be the most talented, physically, at least, quarterback of all time. I still think he's a winning quarterback. I think with a good team around him, he can lead the Steelers to the playoffs, and who knows what happens at that point. So it sounds like Terry's got a personal issue with him. I like Terry Bradshaw, but I really wouldn't pay any mind to them not liking him personally. Who cares what the radio guy thinks? Gives a single crap about that. I think the Steelers should sign Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, this next season is shot. They need a quarterback. You ain't going anywhere without a quarterback, and Aaron can still play. All right, we're out of time, Mojo. We got a big show tomorrow. Lots to talk about. It's going to be great.
That's right, Babcock. It'll be the best show since today.
I'm a lawyer.